Hey, what's up YouTube? I'm back again today with another video, and today I thought I'd just do a fun one because, like, why not? I enjoy these ones. These are going to be like I might start doing more of these, basically like top 10s of different things, and I thought this one would be quite funny. So this is going to be the top 10 weirdest slash annoying people that you will meet in the gym. Now, admittedly, some of these are probably very specific to the gyms I've been to. Purely because I highly doubt this happens anywhere else, but I still thought it was funny, and you guys can obviously let me know if you know any of these people or if you've seen any of these people in your gym. I also thought this was good as well because it gives the new people a little bit of a heads up of the slight weirdos that they can meet in the gym. So with that said, let's jump right in. Okay, so the first one we got here is the raw guy. Now this guy is annoying, especially when it comes to big lifts and stuff. If you're someone who really enjoys lifting big weights, and you might use wrist wraps, or if you're doing squats, you might use knee wraps or elbow wraps, or even the wrist wraps, the ones that wrap around the bar if you're doing like a deadlift wraps. And then immediately after you've performed your bet, you're like, you've like done whatever you're trying to do. If you've hit your 1 rep max or something, and someone's filming you, and you're like, yeah, and you're really hyped. This guy will walk up to you and he'll be like, that's not a proper lift. You're like, what? And he's like, yeah. Because you use wraps and you use knee stuff, and you're like, what does that have to do with anything? Why does this affect you? Why are you ruining my moment? Effectively, what this comes down to is, like, technically it's not a raw lift. And a raw lift is when you perform an exercise with nothing on. So, like, you wouldn't have any knee wraps, arm wraps, and stuff like that. And then like heaviest, and then like some guys bigger lifts that aren't raw, they might perform them with like a bench pressure or like that baby grow thing that they use for when they're doing like deadlifts or squats that basically tightens your entire body because it's all elastic. Technically though, still raw still counts if you're using wrist wraps. So technically it still counts if you're using wrist wraps anyway. It's still raw, but there's always that guy who come up to you and be like, oh, what the hell, man, that's not... And you're like, just go away, okay? I'm having a good day. I have tendonitis in both my wrists, so I use wrist wraps anyway, so it has nothing to do with you. I was told to by the doctor. Okay, so number 2 is the protein guy. Now, admittedly, you don't see this guy around too much anymore. After the whole, like, anabolic window and all that type of thing kind of got basically destroyed over the last year or so, or at least the last couple of years on the internet. But occasionally, you will still see this guy. And effectively, he will finish his workout, and it might be literally the last set. And as soon as he's done it, he will sprint to his gym bag, who's like a really fast runner? Usain Bolt. He will sprint to his gym bag like Usain Bolt, and pull out his protein shake, maybe a chicken sandwich. And I swear, once I've been in the gym and this guy has sat down and pulled out an entire cooked chicken breast with some salad and just sat there and ate it, like immediately in the gym still. And you're like, what are you doing? You could eat that in your car, which would be less weird. I mean, it'd still be weird if you walked down into the car park and you saw this guy just like shoveling chicken into his mouth while he sat in his car. But it would be less weird than if he was doing it still sat in the gym. And 2, I mean, the anabolic window and everything and all that, like, you need to eat half an hour after you've trained, otherwise your workout's not, it doesn't count or whatever. It's been disproven loads. But I still think, don't sit around in the gym and just eat an entire meal. It's weird. Okay, so number 3 is the I'm bulking guy. Everybody loves this guy. And it's the guy who, he's usually still in reasonably good shape. Like, we're not talking like ripped or anything, because hence he's still bulking. But he's usually a decently big guy. But obviously he really doesn't have the abs, tends to not really be too, ripped, so you can see like the striations and some of the muscle. Nowhere close to that. Tends to be a little bit bigger, but he tends to like to walk around to people and just claim that he's bulking. It's the bulking season. Okay, unless the bulking season has lasted for 5 years, I don't think you're bulking anymore. I think you're just eating in a slight surplus. But we all love this guy. He's funny. He'll usually come around, be like, "Yeah, I'm bulking, man. It's so cool." I mean, our guys tend to actually come around and like, he kind of tells like quite funny jokes and then tells you he's bulking, which is weird because then you start laughing and then immediately afterwards he's like, "I'm bulking." But no hate on this guy. I mean, to be fair, if you're a little bit bigger, it doesn't really matter because you're kind of, you know, obviously as long as you can still kind of see the muscle, you actually tend to look massive. You just can't see any of the, like, kind of like the muscle striations or the muscle cuts. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. Also, if you are eating in a massive surplus, you'll probably get fat. But this guy tends to be the guys eating a slight surplus, you can't really see anything, as in muscle cuts, muscle definition, but still feels the need to tell everybody in the gym he's bulking. Okay, number 4 is the spot guy. Now, this comes in 2 forms. Either the unwanted spot guy, or the guy who wants you to spot them whilst you're in the middle of a set. And it's always either it's always either really one of these two. Either you're in the middle of a really heavy bench press, or you're doing like a squat, or sometimes it can either be on really weird exercises too. And you're getting to the point where you're kind of struggling or whatever. And this guy will come out of nowhere and just immediately start spotting you, even though you haven't even asked for it. It's nice in a way, but it's also slightly creepy, especially on bench press when you don't see them coming because you're laying down and you're there and you're like this, you're like, come on. And he literally comes up, punch up, whoa, go, bro, come on, 2 more. And you're like, whoa, what? Yeah, it kind of throws you off a little bit. It's nice in a way that, like, clearly they saw you struggling and wanted to help, but it's weird in that they didn't ask and they just immediately come behind you and start spotting. The other version of this is you would be in the middle of your set, or you're kind of in your rest period or something, and this guy will come up to you and be like, yo, can you spot me? And you're like, yeah, sure, of course. Like, you should always, you know, if you have the time, as long as you're not in the middle of the set, that I'll come to in a second, then it's fine to go over and help people spot. But if you're right in the middle of doing your set, it can be very irritating when someone comes over and is like, yo, can you spot me? I'm like, can you not see that I am working out here? Come on. I will also throw in the guy that asks you to film them, purely because if you're, it doesn't really matter necessarily if you're doing strength, because you might have like a break where it's like upwards of 3-4 minutes, and obviously you have time. But if you're right in the middle of doing all your stuff and you're doing like, you know, you've got like 60 to 90 seconds of break, you then don't want to spend 5 minutes of filming them while they're trying to, like, you know, because it's usually multiple takes and they want to like get the best shot, best angle, and they'll tell you to stand there, we'll stand there, hold the camera sideways, portrait, and like, I want to get on, come on. So yeah, they can be slightly irritating, but also slightly nice in a weird way if they're coming over to spot you. So it's kind of a bit of a 50-50, just watch out for it. Okay, number 5 is the, well, it was the video guy, but I threw that one in there. So let's move straight on to number 6, which is going to be the sexist guy. We hate this guy. He's weird, he's irritating, and he's sexist, naturally. It's really irritating when, because I know, like, back in the olden days, like, you know, it might have been 1940s, 1950s maybe, when this was kind of more acceptable. But, you know, it used to be kind of women would do the cardio and men would do the weights. You know, men want to get big and jacked, but can't run for the bus, and women can run for the bus but wouldn't do any weights. Obviously now that's a hell of a lot different. You know, everyone can do whatever kind of, you know, exercise they want to, and they can look whatever way they want to. So it's always really irritating, especially when you don't even know this person. They'll kind of be standing next to you, maybe waiting for a piece of equipment that you're using, or maybe you just kind of started talking to them or something, and that maybe a woman steps up to do like a bench press or a deadlift or maybe like a squat or something. It tends to be more like the deadlift or the bench press though, because obviously some women, you know, some guys think like women should do squats. It's all complicated, but it's whenever a woman steps up to do a big lift or something, and all the, you know, the guys are like, look at her doing a lift, and you're like, yes, she is doing a lift. Well done, you have pointed out the obvious. You're not funny, and you're an asshole. And that's all I say about that. No one likes that guy. Don't be that guy. Okay, so number 7 is the window guy. I don't know if you've ever had this before, so this is one of the ones where I'm a bit like, I don't know if people have had this. But basically, and it's not like it's a single occasion, this has happened on multiple occasions when he's coming to the gym, at least the last gym I used to work at. Pretty much every time I saw him in the gym, he'd come over and do this. He used to come over and open up all the windows. And I don't just mean like one maybe if it was near a piece of equipment he was using. He would literally walk round the gym and open up every single window to the max they could, and then like walk off and do something somewhere else. And you're like, it's already cold in here, there's a thing called AC, or, you know, air conditioning. And 2, you're now going into a different room. So what was the point? I never understand this guy. Please let me know if you've ever had that, and if you have any idea of why someone would come in and open up all the windows. It's very frustrating. Okay, so the next one is the vending machine guy. This kind of ties in again with the protein guy, but this is the protein guy when he's forgotten to bring a meal, and he'll run over to the vending machine because he feels like he needs something to eat, and then 9 times out of 10 doesn't have any money for the vending machine, and it's kind of a bit of a funny sight when they're there like, I need to get some food, don't have any money, what is good? And then like, they'll usually run out to the reception desk, ask for some cash, and then they have to trade it. And they have to like put it in and come on. And you go like see the thing like slowly rotating round as it's getting closer and closer to the edge to fall off. And the guy's like, come on, he's practically drooling at this point, watching this bar or like shake or something slowly move to the front. And then it's the best thing ever when it gets stuck. You know, you ever seen those where it's like a longer, like maybe a longer chocolate bar or something, and it falls and it hits the glass and it sits there and it doesn't fall down, and the guy will literally at this point be like racking the machine, like he'll go and then eventually he'll give up and have to go and ask someone to open it, and by this time you can see in his eyes that he feels like he's failed as a human. It's very funny to watch. You ever have one of these guys, just observe them for like 20 seconds. It's very funny. Okay, so number 9 is going to be the plate hog. Now, nobody likes this guy. Well, it's not necessarily his fault. It's dependent, right? If it's someone who's maybe like a powerlifter or strongman or something and they lift really massively heavy weights, it's not necessarily their fault that they're using 90% of the plates in the gym because they've got the bar loaded, and you know that's just how it is sometimes. What I'm talking about is the guy who has all the plates around the area that he's working, and yet maybe has like 110 on either side of the bar and isn't using them, but yet when you go to use them, he will then tell you off for stealing his plates. And you're like, what? Dude, okay, A, you're on the last set of your exercise. 2, you're using 110 on either side of the bar and you haven't progressed since like the last 3 sets that you've done on this exercise. And 3, since when are these your plates? They don't even have your name on them. Well, I mean, they might do depending on the brand of plates. I mean, if it's Smith plates and his name is Smith, then I have nothing for you. But 9 times out of 10, this guy's just an ass. Just take the plates. Just ignore him. Pretend he's not there. Alright, okay, and the last one, number 10, is the music man. So this guy is very irritating. I mean, equally, if you enjoy the music, it doesn't always irritate me. But it's like, there's already music on in the gym anyway. Like 9 times out of 10, you'll have big speakers around. The gym will be playing there, like obviously music either they pay for, might have the radio on or something. And this guy will come in with a big speaker. It's always a big speaker, it's never a little one. He'll come in with like a big, kind of big speaker, connect a phone to it, and then blast music at the absolute maximum volume that he can. And the gym people will do nothing about it. Or they'll do something about it depending on the gym you're in. But in ours, they kind of just look over and go, and then that's it. That's all they'll do. They'll give you a disappointing stare, like a teacher when you say you haven't got your homework, and they look at you like, what am I going to do with you, John? But they don't do anything about it. And it's very irritating sometimes when they've got, like, especially when it's bad music as well. As I said, I don't mind it if it's something really good, like, I don't know, someone's thrown on some NWA, or some West Side Connection, or, like, stuff that you can really, like, rep out to and is good. And then don't get me wrong, it's fun. And also, if you haven't heard of either one of those, go check them out. West Side Connection's got, brain don't fail me now. It's Ice Cube and then the other 2, which I always forget their names. And then obviously NWA is their first album, or first 2 albums are the best ones, where they've got all of them in there, which is Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, MC Ran, Eazy-E, and I think there's one more, but I can't remember, or maybe it's just those 4. I'm not sure. Oh, that's going to irritate me. But if you haven't heard of them, go and check them out. Great music. But anyway, basically this guy will throw on some music. If it's good music, it doesn't bother me, but sometimes it can be really terrible music. And sometimes it's like stuff that you wouldn't even want to work out to. You could be throwing some Mozart, and you're like, what is this? Why? I am like, my bicep curls are now going like 50% slower, which actually is not necessarily a bad thing. But it's not stuff that I want to work out to. Okay, so yeah, that was it. It's just a nice, fun video today. Hopefully that helps some people. In the, those are the weird people you might find in the gym.